And they said Airbnb.com had 73 million visitors in November of 2020, which was more than Hilton.com and Marriott.com. And they said with Airbnb having more monthly visitors than hotels.com, don't be surprised. And so my thought is just don't be surprised to see more cities like try to take advantage of that opportunity, because hotels, obviously, they got the hotel tax and all that stuff. And I feel like if they're losing a lot of revenue because hotels aren't as booked as they typically would be, and it's all going to kind of Airbnb, people talk regulations and restrictions and stuff like that. I don't think it'll be a lot of restrictions, but I think there will be definitely, the city's going to be like, hey, let me get some of this money. We don't care really what's going on, but we got to recoup kind of what we're losing.
It depends on what the old people say.
Yeah.
It depends on what the old people say.
Right? But the old people don't like Airbnbs.
They hate Airbnb. So that's what I'm saying. Like old people hate the Airbnb model.
But I definitely think that's the wave that we're going in. With Airbnb, and you talk about like millennials and Gen X and stuff like that. Like a lot of us don't want to go to hotels. A lot of us are very family friendly. A lot of us do like to kind of be.
Oh, and the fucking hotels are dirty. They're small. Like, and now when we go to, if you got a family, you got to get a hotel suite.
Yeah, or you got to get rooms back to back. You know what I mean? Like it's, you're playing the game where you only got 3 people. You know what I mean? Sneaking the kids up last. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. Like Airbnb is honestly, I believe it's here to stay. Will there be more regulations? Yeah, there probably will be. You might have to have an LLC in order to co-host or to have or run a business out of at home. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's still a residential house.
Well, that's a layer for idiots. Like that's some
yeah. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you got to have a business so we can do a business tax. Like that's fine. We got an LLC.
But still, it's a layer for idiots. You think that changes shit?
No.
It doesn't change a damn thing. Like,
no,
bro. And then what was I going to say? Oh. I don't see anything changing because if you drive around and see the amount of hotels that there really are.
Yeah.
Bro, there's a lot of hotels. Like where someone was saying like Airbnb is getting saturated.
No.
I was like, bro, go drive around and look at all the shitty ass hotels that are still here and they're still full.
Yeah.
You tell me Airbnb is saturated? Like the offer is better at Airbnb, and so it's going to take a while for that thing to plateau. And then still, if you're making $150 a night on your Airbnb, you're fine because most hotels are in like that price point.
Yeah.
And who's going to a cheap $8 hotel? Like,
and if you really think about it, like when you think about who stays at some of these Airbnbs too. So like here in the Central Valley, we get a lot of like construction companies that come in who are like building Walmarts and who are building some of these hotels or whatever that may be. Why aren't they sending their crews to hotels? So in a sense, like we're growing as a city, and we're growing because we're actually able to house construction crews at a better price than some hotels, but also give them way more amenities.
The offer's way better. Bro.
You know what I mean? The offer's way better. So now companies are going to be more willing probably to come here and help develop here because they can save money sending their crews here comfortably. So it's not a negative thing. Like these companies are essentially coming. Yeah, they're helping grow the Airbnb industry here or the short-term rental industry because Airbnb is just a platform. But it helps our city.
And this is another point for you guys. If you do ever make something new, be the first to market, like Airbnb, because all short-term rentals, like there's, I think, 3 different websites now.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is.
VRBO, Airbnb,
and there's probably one other one.
What's the vacations, or I don't know, it's like a bunch of other ones.
But it doesn't matter.
Booking.com, I think.
Yeah, but it all is an Airbnb to everybody else, and just that branding of it is.
Airbnb did a good job at branding short-term rentals. Because when people think short-term rentals, the first thing they think is Airbnb. Oh, you got that Airbnb, and it's like, I got short-term rental that I use Airbnb to.
Right, like, but you could put it on Vrbo, but no, you don't hear anybody talk about fucking Vrbo.
No. Nah.
That's a big ass platform.
It is.
I used one to book an Airbnb for one of my speakers at my event, but I didn't say I booked a Vrbo. I said an Airbnb.
Yeah,
like that's
because it's familiar. It's what you know. It's the same thing like when people come go out of town and or you're not from here. Or you say you go to Texas or something, right? And they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Kingsburg." Yeah, Dinuba, Fresno. Oh, okay, yeah, I know where Fresno at. You know what I mean? It's almost the same thing. Like you're not gonna go around talking about Dinuba. You're gonna say I'm from Fresno. So short-term rental is the same thing. You're not gonna be like, "Hey, VRBO," like Airbnb.
I think it's only good unless everything gets regulated.
Yeah. But even at that, it's really only so much you could really do. I think Kyle did a really good job, and we have a Airbnb or short-term rental Facebook group for all local hosts, and that was kind of our Kyle's idea in a way of us being able to fight against like some regulations, because the worst thing that you can do is have too many chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, right? So you get a chief that comes in like, hey, let's all get together. You know what I mean? And if we see something going bad, then we're gonna regulate against it ourselves. Like, let's regulate it ourselves instead of having the city have to come in and regulate it.
Yeah, the government's never good in any aspect of getting in anyone's business.